Hey everybody, welcome to the Adventist Hoops podcast. Today I have the head coach of the Washington Adventist University women's team, Jered Lyons. He's also the athletic director at WAU. Jered, welcome to the Adventist Hoops podcast.
I appreciate it, Dustin. I appreciate you having me on and taking some time. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to get to know you a little better and for everybody else to get to know you. I have to say right off the bat, I mean, just from appearances, the program that you guys run at WAU is for sure, as far as like communication and marketing, like my thing, it's one of the premier Adventist programs, if not the premier. And so I'm excited to kind of pick your brain a little bit about how you guys run things and the decisions that you've made to put a priority on things in athletics. But I wanted to start with you personally. Who are you? Where are you from? And what has been your story and your journey that has led you to this point to be head coach at WAU and the athletic director?
I'm from Maryland. Ironically enough, I was actually born at Washington Adventist Hospital, and so our university is right in front of the hospital. So I'm from the DMV area, grew up in Hyattsville, Maryland, was born at in Tacoma Park. I do consider it's an area called Frederick, Maryland, my home. It's about probably about 50 minutes from campus. Grew up at Venice. So again, for me being here, it's really a full circle moment. I didn't spend all of my younger years education in the Adventist school systems, but grew up at Venice, and was fortunate to have a high school that was accommodating of the faith, and then also my alma mater, Eastern Mennonite University, where I played 4 years at. They were also accommodating of my faith, so I've been able to kind of navigate through through the workforce, not having to compromise my faith, and that to me has been a tremendous blessing and huge. But
That can be an inspiration too to some kids who, and of course, I mean, I want all of our good Adventist players to go play at Adventist schools, but there's also opportunities to play elsewhere, and there are situations where they are accommodating.
Right.
I,
It certainly is. I think, the faith journey is such a personal journey. And I know that, our faith is, that tenet is what makes it different than, other denominations. And, it can be, it can be a challenge. And so, but I think that, with just being open and honest, I found every stop that I've just been open and honest, and I think people find value in that.
Mhm.
I think that being open and honest and getting and it's also opportunity to share too. So I've been very fortunate and blessed in that capacity.
And you were just telling me that you came to WAU in 2014. Is that right?
Yes.
In
Yep.
what capacity?
So I was hired as the women's basketball coach and the sports information director and compliance coordinator. So that was the full-time position, compliance coordinator and sports information director. So handled all of the statistics, ran the website, tried to do as much video as I can. I do have a background in graphics and communication. That was my undergrad, and my master's was in higher ed. So I did have some familiarity with graph Photoshop, things that could enhance the department. And then also, the secondary role was women's basketball coach.
Well, of course, I want to get to the coaching and your team, but I got to hit on this marketing brand. Since I mentioned it earlier, I mean, I didn't know that you had that background, but that really makes sense to me now, because when I look across all of our schools, marketing and social media, I see that you guys do it at a high level. It's very professional.
I appreciate that, Dustin. Yeah, this is. I think when I came in 2014, certainly, I would like to say I added value to the department with some of my skill set, but it's really the last 3 years. We have our graphic designer who now is in my role as the SID compliance coordinator, Erica Calhoun. She is phenomenal. She does all of our graphics. She does our pictures, and then she does some of our videography as well. And she's a professional in her own right. She's one of the best photographer, graphic designers in the DMV area. Um, if not, I'd argue on the East Coast, but she really brings a professional, like you said, look to our branding, and it's just one of those things where we were connected. I didn't know Erica, but I knew of her work because she worked with one of the top 10 girls basketball program in the nation in Bishop McNamara that's here in the DMV area. And I've always appreciated her work. And when the position came available, I just, I encouraged her to apply. I didn't think that we would, have a chance, but things worked out, and we're super glad to have her.
I was wondering if, because it looked like she also does some consulting or whatever, so I didn't know if she actually was full time on staff there. That's amazing.
Yes, she is full time. She's full time on staff. Very appreciative and thankful. And then, yeah, she still has her media company on the side.
What does that add to your athletic program to have professional branding and marketing?
Well, I'll say this: when I'm out recruiting, I've had several Division I coaches. Well, first in the DMV area, she's well known because of the work that she's done with Bishop McNamara, who is like I said before, a top 10 high school for girls basketball. And so, when I'm out, people that aren't as familiar, a lot of times they think, oh, you must have a big time budget, or, it's just, we're very fortunate, but it really helps with our recruiting. It adds a sense of pride,
Hmm.
um, that we want to represent the university the right way. And then also, it does put us in a different lane where we're able to engage with some businesses
Mm.
as far as corporate sponsorships. That's one thing that she added last year. We provided the information, and then she put together a corporate sponsorship packet that we're able to go out and engage with businesses. So it's been tremendous having her on board. So yeah.
How has the corporate sponsorship program been going? Because I imagine that's something that some of our schools do, maybe here and there, but I haven't really seen or heard of that being kind of an established program like that.
Well, I will say that, and Dustin, I think that at some point down the line, especially, well, this year, well, two summers ago, we met as ADs at Berman University. All of the athletic directors came out, and it was just a great weekend, getting a chance to spend fellowship with other ADs, and, we problem solved and shared ideas. Javier Kroom at La Sierra does a fantastic job. He was the AD of the year for the Cal Pack last year. He's had a ton of success, uh, and really is the model for corporate sponsorships and
Mm.
branding. So we're really just scratching the surface. Well, I shouldn't even say scratching the surface. We're just beginning our journey. And so
I'll have to talk to him about that. That's interesting.
we are engaging with a few companies now. Jiffy Lube is one, a auto mechanic shop, a local auto mechanic shop. And then we just signed a partnership with a sports regenerative orthopedic office here in the area, which we're excited to announce. But we're just, yeah, we're reaching out and really just sharing our department, the successes that we've had, and how our student athletes and their name can, we can help each other.
and no one wants to be part of something that doesn't look nice, doesn't look good. So that's where that plays in. It's also just fun. I mean, the kids, I see them on these media days. I didn't have anything like that when I was in college. I mean, that's so fun. They
Yeah.
get in the studio and, of course, they love to share the photos after the fact. But I mean, what kid doesn't want to be a part of a program that has that, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it's certainly, and again, that's the idea of Erica, with her connections, she found, has a studio that she works with and said, hey, let's do all of our media days at a local studio. And it also helps her workflow as well. So getting a chance to break down graphics a little easier, cutting images and different things like that really helps her project flow for the year.
Well, if you
So
want to see some fun media day photos, go to WAU Shock on Instagram or WAU dot WBB. Is it
um,
dot or is it just
for our handle, yeah, it's just WAUWBB. Yeah,
okay? And also
yeah,
WAU MBB as well. There's some fun
right.
some photos on their Instagrams there. So pretty cool. I've been really impressed. So that's interesting to learn just how the behind the scenes of how that's been going down. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
right. Nice, thank you.
Um, what did going back to sort of your journey, what did you learn from being a part of being a part of non-Adventist programs that you wanted to bring into your athletic program?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily, categorize it between non-Adventist, Adventist. I've been very fortunate in my basketball journey to have been coached by some really great coaches. And, starting back from my high school days where I really have to credit my high school coach, Coach Bruce Kelly, and Coach Josh Merkel. Yeah, those two, they're incredible coaches. And just, I would say, the way that they ran their program, both coaches, um, my high school coach coached at the Division I level, had a ton of success there, coached at a prominent high school here in the DC area. And just the level of passion and connection with their players, kind of, more than basketball approach, but just their IQ and their level of details. So I would say, our we worked out a lot in high school. And then I got my collegiate start under my college coach. I'm sorry, under my high school coach. So Josh Merkel, who is the head coach at Randolph-Macon College, it's a Division III school in Ashland, Virginia. 2 years ago, they won the national championship.
Mm.
He's coached at West Virginia. He was on the staff at West Virginia when they won the Elite Eight. He coached at Eastern Kentucky, who was also in the NCAA tournament. And so I really learned how to run a program from him.
Mm.
And so just the day-to-day operations, having the honest conversations, the details of workouts, and most importantly, recruiting individuals that fit your vision. So
Mm.
we would say, it sounds cliche, but we want the well-rounded basketball player, can pass, shoot, dribble, IQ, but more than that, student athletes that are intrinsically motivated to be in the gym and working on their craft. And I've kind of just, followed that blueprint. And, we've been fortunate to have some success here, in the last 5, 6 years. So, yeah, so that was a long answer, but yeah, really, really learned a lot under those two about uh, running a successful program.
Mm. You're talking about those figures in your life, and I also wanted you just to touch on Rick Murray. I don't know if you knew him or interacted with him at all, but just kind of like what he meant to CUC, which turned into WAU, and how you maybe try to embody his legacy in your work today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that first and foremost, Rick Murray, I think for Adventist athletics as a whole, and I'm looking forward to us coming together this summer at La Sierra for our AD convention.
Got to see if I can
To
slide through there.
Oh yeah,
Why not?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so
Just invite
I,
myself right there.
I think that us as universities coming up with a way to really commemorate, what he's done. To my knowledge, CUC started their athletics department in 1985. He was the first AD to um, to start Adventist
Intercollegiate. Yeah.
collegiate program. And when you go, when I first got the job, I would go through old files. We're trying to get back to some of the things that he implemented long ago, as far as some business partnerships, corporate sponsorships. He was the first coach to win a conference championship with the 1992 team. Um, and so he's done a lot for um, Adventist athletics as a whole, and certainly CUC. So we're trying to really find a way that we can honor him in the right way. And so we reached out to his family, and we have several members on staff here that were coached by him, and they've spoken very highly of him. I know that he
We
was,
should say he just passed away
yeah, he passed away
recently.
last year. Yes, yes, he passed away last year, and so I know that it was very important for him to, their student athletes to, um, to know Christ and to know that they have a place where they can go and not compromise their faith.
Hmm.
And so that's huge. And then just one quick backstory, because
Yeah.
his name, we talked about his name yesterday, but her name is Charlene Thomas Swinson. She's an assistant coach with the Las Vegas Aces. She got her collegiate start here at
Hmm.
CUC.
Wow.
Just spoke with her yesterday on the phone, and I was asking her, how did you, how did you get your start here? And she said that she would play pickup, and Rick Murray would play, was there at some of the pickup, and she played at Auburn. She's a high level player, played overseas. And so Rick Murray noticed her skill and said, "Hey, well, would you be interested in coming helping out our women's basketball program? We're getting it off the ground and would love for you to come." And she came and coached for 3 years.
Wow.
Uh, and I had no idea of that story until yesterday, because we're looking to honor Coach Swinson and her back-to-back WNBA championships as well. So he's made a huge impact.
Hmm.
You know?
Was CUC Division 2, NCAA Division 2 back
Yeah.
then?
So when it started out, they started out NAIA.
Okay.
So for the first, I believe, for the first 10 years, they were NAIA, and then transitioned to NCAA Division 2 independent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So we were not in a league. We weren't in a conference when we
No.
were.
When we were NAIA, we were, but when we transitioned to NCAA, and I think largely a part due to the Sabbath, we were independent, which
Ah,
allowed flexibility of
yeah.
when to schedule outside of conference play.
Got it.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
There's so much history like that. I mean, you talk to some different people that have been around for a while, and they'd say, "Hey, did you know that it started here? This started here." You talk
right.
about Tacoma Academy, and they're leading the way of high school interscholastic competition, and there's just a lot of figures that's something I'm interested in. I like history, so getting some
Yeah,
of
me
those
too.
figures to come on the podcast as well. But trying to
Yeah.
get through all the head coaches first, the current head coaches, and maybe we can move on to that.
Yeah, what you're doing is the platform, it's been discussed before, but no one has really taken the initiative, and you're really taking the initiative. And it's been cool to see. So we'll definitely have to send you some WAU gear.
Oh,
So I'll get your address so we can
love it.
send some things to you.
I'll rep that for sure.
Yeah.
Jered, you're an AD and a coach. So how does your experience in each role benefit the other?
Yeah, so I would say right now, and this isn't unique to our Adventist universities. It's really a small time college thing where you're wearing multiple, you're doing yeah, you have multiple roles and wearing multiple hats. Um, Before I got to WAU, I was at my alma mater for a season, Eastern Mennonite University, and I was the international and multicultural student advisor. I worked in the intensive English program at our university. I was also the assistant athletic fitness center coordinator. So I had a lot of
And you
different,
were an assistant coach as well.
and I was an assistant coach, correct.
Yeah.
So, that was my first job out of being, graduating from grad school and being a GA. And so you learn very early that you wear multiple role or do multiple roles. And so I think coming here, as far as one benefiting the other, as long as you have the mindset of you want to see all of the athletics programs
Hmm.
be pushed forward and upward, and that's always at the front of your mind,
Hmm.
then I think that you can be successful. And of course, being organized helps as well. But usually for me, that's and I'm still learning too. But with that in mind, that's kind of how I try to attack the role. Where how can I make others around me better? For case in point, our men's soccer team. I got to shout out our soccer team, Coach Danny Carroll. Um, when he went through the interview process, on his resume, he was a national champion. He won a national championship as a player. He came from a successful program. He also coached in the Final Four for NAIA and soccer. And so when we had the opportunity to hire him, we knew that there was going to be a shift with our men's soccer program. Um, we are, I think, top 30 in rankings. For
Wow.
the first time in program history, they'll be going to our conference tournament. They finished the season 10-4-2, uh, knocked off a top 25 team,
Wow.
tied with another. And so just the culture, the energy, that he's brought. It's very awesome to see other teams, being successful because you can win here.
Mm.
That's what we share with our coaches. We have a phenomenal administration that supports athletics. And I appreciate you starting at one. I was on the phone with our CFO, and he took an hour out of his day to problem solve a few items
Mm.
for athletics. So that, just shares with you kind of the level of commitment to our student athletes, and
I,
providing a great experience for them. So
I was going to ask about that. I mean, how that supportive environment has been fostered between the athletic department and the administration.
yeah, I say it starts, it's almost like the Maxwell leadership is everyone's business. And
Mm.
so it really starts from the top. So Dr. Spence has been vocal. Not only has he been vocal, but with resources, also not just with resources and being vocal. He is actually at our games. He's, front row of soccer games. He's at our basketball games. He's coming out to volleyball and soccer games and supporting our Acro Aires team. So he's visible. He's visible and accessible. And so it really starts for him, top down, and he communicates that through our community. And I believe our student athletes feel that, and we've directly been impacted by that. So,
Mm, that's great. That's leading by example.
you,
You, it is, I see you posting personally just all of the things going on in the WAU athletic department. It's kind of like being a parent, right? I mean, you have to have equal share of all of the kids, and you really seem to love and have passion for each one of the sports, and that comes through for sure. Well, at least you should have no communication problems between the AD and the head coach, right?
right. Yeah.
Shared responsibility. Yeah.
Oh man, that's funny.
Uh, let's talk basketball now. You have a pretty experienced team. You only have one sophomore.
Hmm.
Everybody else is upperclassmen.
Hmm.
Um, how do you how do you recruit some of these top players that you have that have stayed in the program who may not be Adventist, but you're while at the same time running a distinctively Adventist program?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it starts with it being a passion of mine. Like I said before, I've navigated outside of the Adventist athletics my entire life. So, I've had those conversations with my coaches. Hey, Friday sunset to Saturday sunset, I'm not going to be, I won't be available to play. Obviously, in high school, more things, and there was myself and one of my best friends as well. So it was two of us, but um, in college it was a little different because I would potentially miss a second round game, or if we had a tournament I wouldn't play on the opening night. Um so I've been appreciative of my coaches, Coach Josh Merkel, Coach Bruce Kelly, and my college coach, Coach Kirby Dean, who they're all men of faith, and they all value their faith and their relationship with God. And so, um, by them being uh, open and receptive to me, now getting a chance to coach um, in an Adventist university, it's almost like a not a personal mission, but I feel like I'm called to share, and all of our recruits during our recruiting visit, regardless if you're regardless of denomination or faith, I always share upfront that, hey, I'm a Christian coach. This is a Christian university. We're going to talk about certain things that you're not necessarily able to do at a state school or somewhere else. And I want to be upfront with that. We aren't trying to you know, God isn't a God of force. It's choice. He wants you to have a relationship with him. He's not going to force you to. And so we very transparent, very upfront with that. And if it aligns with where you're currently at in life, then this is a great place. But if you feel uneasy about it, or then there's no hard feelings, but you have to make that choice and decision for yourself. But we are very upfront about that part. And for me, if you're receptive to that, and then we get into what WAU has to offer academically, and then we talk about athletics. But if you have an open mind, and you're okay being in a Christian environment, then we'll recruit anyone. And we've had success just being upfront and honest like that. And we've also, there's been some recruits where, it's not what they're looking for. And, we wish them well, wish them the best. So
Mm.
that's kind of how my approach is to it.
I know that you place a high value on junior college athletes. I think you were, excuse me, at an event yesterday, junior college event yesterday. Um, talk about the value you placed on recruiting from JUCOs.
Yes. So again, the DMV area is, we're really spoiled with good basketball, high school, JUCO, the collegiate level, and it's really all it's a close knit community. And so we have a JUCO team here in Maryland, CCBC Essex. They lost one game last year, and they were the national champions um, their for all of JUCO. And
Wow.
so we scrimmage them every year. Yeah, last year I think they sent 7 players, Division One. But they're always our benchmark. And so when teams play against them, we identify the players that are playing against them successfully. Stat wise, they're not backing down, they're not timid, and those are the players that we recruit from Maryland JUCO. And the last 4 or 5 years we've been consistently getting at least two of the top players in Maryland JUCO. So all of our Maryland JUCO coaches are great to work with as well. And I think they would say too that everyone's trying to knock CCBC Essex off the pedestal. And so they're kind of right now they're leading the pack. So if you can have success as a player against them, then you can help us win right away. So
Mm.
that's kind of been our um, niche in Maryland JUCO recruiting.
What challenges are there that prevent us, and when I say us, I just mean Adventist basketball, from signing more Adventist players?
Yes, I would say that, and this goes back to Rick Murray. And I'm reading, documents that, and I'll have to share with you some of the things from early on in CUC. It's always a goal to have a place where Adventist athletes do not have to compromise their faith. And I can list a few professed um, former Adventist athletes that went on to play other places, but they also, played on the Sabbath. And I'm not getting into, again, every person's journey is personal, but I wonder what it would look like if some of those athletes had chosen to go to an Adventist college.
Hmm.
I think the challenge now is we know and can identify the talent at our academies, especially with video and different things like that. But
Adventist
the
hoop highlights.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, right, and it's awesome. Hopefully, more high school students will send in some of their highlights so we can find out about them.
Yeah.
And
I'm looking
right.
forward to the season starting because I kind of have exhausted all the academy highlights I think that are out there in the archives. But
Well, that's okay. Well, hopefully we can kickstart it up. But
yeah,
that's one of the big things is that if a Venice kid reaches out, we always start with and whatever recruit. It doesn't have to just be, but especially if we're not in state, can you send me some highlights or film? And
what do
if
you
they're
prefer, by the way? Because I've heard coaches ask for both just highlights or hey, send me like your best half.
You know what? I truly believe that it depends on where you're coaching at. If I was when I was at Salisbury coaching, I would take my lunch hour. I would have my lunch and I would just go through as much film as I possibly could. I think here, because coaches aren't full time, our time is valuable. So for me personally, I look for skill set. So I can see some of your skill set through highlights. Of
See
course,
like what your highest potential is.
right,
Yeah,
correct. Because
yeah.
I mean, essentially that's what you're looking to see if someone has a good skill set. Do you have a nice shooting form? Are you displaying plays that indicate that you have basketball IQ? And then from there, we can engage and get full film. But it is very hard to sit down and watch a full film. Um, you know,
It's got to go
and
both ways,
yeah,
because
yeah.
if you're thinking about it, if you're a high school kid listening or watching this, um, the coaches, they can't know who everyone is all across the country. It's just impossible. And if you have the desire, I know that you might feel like, hey, I want to be pursued and I shouldn't have to, initiate anything. That's not the way it goes. You have to be able to let people know who you are and what you're about and what you can offer, what you can do for them. Because coaches, they can't be everywhere, and especially like you mentioned, I mean, at Adventist colleges, usually you're wearing multiple hats as it is, and so it's impossible for coaches to be able to travel to. One thing I'd love is if we were able to get more of our. It's touchy because these tournaments are at these, five Adventist colleges. Five, I think there's five academy tournaments around the country, maybe six, because there's one at Loma Linda
Yeah,
Academy. Anyway, but it'd be nice if all those coaches could come to the colleges. I think Southwestern, I've heard, has invited college coaches to come.
they have. They
But
have.
the other ones, I don't know. It's hard because the school that's hosting it, they're putting it on, and do they want other college coaches there? Anyways, but it would be nice if coaches could get to those events and be there and see everybody.
Yeah, yeah, it would. And I know that in the past we have gone to Southwestern. Um, but it's yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge. But I do think with, again, your platform and those starting to be on Huddle and some of the other video
Mhm.
services, it really helps to identify some of our academy players. But the ones that we try to find are the ones that are at the public schools.
Mm.
And me personally, because that's what um, long story short, I wanted to play at CUC. I asked my high school coach um, to reach out. And I had a few Division 1 interests, a lot of D2, a lot of D3, but to me, I thought, hey, CUC is right here, but we didn't. There was no follow up, and so that's why I try to find the high school, the Adventist high school
Mm.
athletes that are at our public schools or elsewhere, that are talented and falling between the cracks and maybe interested in attending an Adventist university.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
Uh, Yeah. Well, anyway, if you're a kid out there, send me what you got and we'll get it out there. I mean, we want to make sure that if you want to play somewhere that that's the thing too, is I think that in the spectrum of Adventist schools, there is somewhere that you can play,
yeah,
maybe you can't play at WAU, but you could play somewhere else or vice versa. I mean, I think there's lots of options and people just aren't aware. I think sometimes they're not aware that all of our schools have athletic programs or basketball programs. The only one that doesn't is Southern Adventist University doesn't have an athletic program, but all the rest do. That we got 5 NAIA schools, so it's exciting, and I think it's just going to keep getting better and better.
yeah, it is. And I hope, we have yeah, we have big vision for the future as far as, at some point we will want to host a high school tournament. And then I know there's been early, we talked about at the AD convention. It would be nice if, all of our NAIA schools can, meet up somewhere.
That's what I'm excited about.
Maybe the tournament is sponsored by Advent Health or Adventist Healthcare, and we're playing, meeting midway somewhere.
Yeah.
So that
I
that would be
think having it at Southwestern, with all their courts would be great. I've thought about that.
yeah,
That would be awesome because I feel like there's certain schools that play each other. WU plays Oakwood every year. I think Andrews, Union, Southwestern play each other a little round robin every year. The West Coast schools have played each other in the past, but it'd be
yeah,
fun to get everybody together at one venue just for the fellowship. I mean, you're going to be connected to those people for the rest of your life, by
yeah.
association, and it's fun to be able to connect at that level. So I hope that we could do that one day.
Yeah, I forgot what year it was. My years are kind of, I think it might have been 2016 where PUC and our men's program were at the national tournament. And I think the way basically they were cheering for us, we were cheering for
Oh,
them.
that's
It
cool.
was it was mutual respect there. But
That's awesome.
yeah, that was awesome to be a part of national championship and have two Adventist universities there
Yeah,
representing.
man, we were up. I say we. PUC is my alma mater. We were up. We were up
Yeah.
in that game. We were
Okay.
up,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it just slipped away. I mean, they were a good team. They
Yeah.
came on strong in the second half, but um, okay, I want to talk about WAU women's basketball 2023-2024. You just
Mhm.
kicked off the season, big win over Oakwood. We're recording this November 1, 2023, in case you're listening to this a couple years later. It was homecoming. What was the environment like there on Saturday night?
It was a great atmosphere. I think, and this goes back to I think CUC Oakwood, WAU Oakwood. There's a tradition that has been built. Um, uh, there was a period of time where we weren't playing them, and then our former AD, Coach Crary, he brought the series back when he was AD, and so we've been consistently playing since 2014. All of the local churches in the area, their members come out and support. There's a lot of Oakwood alum in the area, and then also our WAU alum are super supportive and always come back for the weekend. So it makes for a great atmosphere. The players love playing there. Um,
And there's
uh,
some Tacoma Academy players that end up, once in a while not going. They go down to Oakwood, and so they're coming back.
yeah,
It's a little homecoming for
yeah,
them, and so they've
right.
got all these connections.
Right. Yeah. So it makes a great environment, and the student athletes they love participating in it. So yeah, it was a good atmosphere.
Now, you guys were actually down 56-53 with 6.5 minutes left in the fourth. Um, and then uh, I noticed Sarah Shamdeen, she just kind of put the team on on her shoulders. She had like 8 of the last, I don't remember how many points, 15, but you guys ended up winning by double digits. Well, how did you guys pull that off at right there at the end?
Yeah, I would say this group, like you said, they're an experienced group, and so I think that they've been in moments like that where you just keep at it. You never get too high, you never get too low, and like you said, upperclassmen making plays. Sarah is probably one of the well, I shouldn't say. Sarah is one of the hardest workers that I've ever coached, and that's both on the men's side, the women's side. She's truly a humble person, and so her work ethic has been consistent. So for her making those plays, it was reflective of what she's done in the unseen hours. And then also Niall Allen had some big plays there as well. So yeah, I think it's just experience, and then also in practice we do um, we have scenarios. We try to do scenarios as much as we can. We'll set the clock at 70-70. We don't start the clock until one team hits 74. Once whichever team hits 74, now we're playing and kind of using situations. And so it always, what we do in practice has,
I like that.
takes
That's good.
place in the game, and that's exactly what happened. Down three with about 6 minutes to go. We've practiced that, having that feeling before, and how to play if you're up, how to play if you're down, and we were fortunate enough to make some plays. But Oakwood they always play hard. It doesn't, I told Coach Ronnie, and I'm so glad that he in his first year being able to take over, because he's a up and coming coach, and he's gonna have their team like I'm glad we don't face them again this year. That is just one and done. But yeah, they're a really good team, and they have some really good players, and our games are always going to be close. It doesn't matter who's on the roster, where the game's at. It's always going to be close.
I'm looking forward to talking to Ronnie here in the next week or two.
Yeah.
Talk about Niall's game. I mean, she's another senior, big contributor, and just the presence that she provides defensively on the court.
Yes, so Niall has been with us. including the COVID year, this will be her fifth year.
Mm.
And so she's concluding her eligibility this year. But Nael has, she's done everything that we've asked her to do, and she's really grown as a player. And we really try to challenge her on the defensive end, controlling the rebounds. We know what she'll do offensively. As we've played just a range of schools, Division I, Division II, and she consistently has garnished double teams. And so
She had a seal on Saturday night, and
yeah
the girl was in jail. I mean, there was nothing she could like. How do you stop it? There's nothing you could do. Great pass, and then easy.
yeah
Yeah, she's a great player.
yeah, we're
Uh,
fortunate.
Um, I'm wondering at this point in the season, you're into your games now. What emphasis do you and your staff put on player development? Is that something that you continue to do, or now that you're into the schedule, you kind of back off that and really just focus in on team stuff?
Yes, so to be completely transparent with you, when I was the SID, um I'm still trying to figure out my daily schedule, because that's one thing that I do think that our program, and not comparing ourselves with other programs, but this is just what I've been taught, as far as program is, a coach in season, a coach getting in the gym with one player or a few players working on a few things. I used to do that more in my former role. I think now, being an AD, um,
It's a lot.
sometimes I'm not able to get in and get, that one-on-one workout, or, three-person workout. But that development is big. We want our players at least shooting, for 30 minutes each day. Coming out, grooving out your shot. That's one point of emphasis that, we're trying to implement. Um, and that's where the intrinsic motivation comes in. I don't have to ask, some of our players to get in the gym because it's what they want to do, because they want to see, potentially see the results. So the more gym rats we can recruit, the better, because we know that, they're going to stay in the gym, and no one has to motivate them to do that.
When you talk about that culture, what do you do to foster a fun yet competitive and winning culture? How have you approached that?
Yeah, I think it goes back to, it goes back to, again, kind of things that I've learned along the way. And I think, not only our department, but it really has started with our team, the five exemplary models of leadership, enabling others to act, encouraging the heart, inspiring a shared vision, challenging the process, and the last one, modeling the way. I feel like if you can do those five things, and that be the start of your day, um, then good things are going to come. In the recruiting process, we talk about the first thing is, um, it's not basketball. It's not even academics. It is, are you, we travel a lot. Are you a good person to be around? Are you treating people the right way? We're going to spend a lot of time with each other. We have to be able to make sure that we're connecting on the human level. And then from there, we'll get into academics, basketball, and those things. But we really recruit personalities. And we've been successful, gelling and putting together a team, but that's a big component of it.
Absolutely. Well, Jered, I feel like we could talk for another hour or two. I just have enjoyed our conversation so much, but I know you're busy. You got so many roles that you're responsible for. So I will let you go. But I do have one more question for you, and that is just what has basketball given to you as a person?
Man, I'm very appreciative. Again, I would probably have to say my mentors, um, Coach Bruce Kelly, head coach at Bullis High School here in Maryland. Josh Merkel, head coach at Randolph-Macon College, or Randolph-Macon University. Um, Coach Pat Query at St. Thomas. I wouldn't be here without him. When the job came available, Coach Pat called Coach Merkel and, asked what type of person I was, character. And so, and then also my college coach, Kirby Dean. All of those have taught, have really modeled the way, from running a program to family life. And the experiences that I've had have been directly connected with basketball. Living in Korea, teaching English for 2 years. I was there,
Were you there
and
as a student missionary?
I didn't work at the Adventist University there as a
Mm,
missionary. I worked in as a teacher in the public schools.
okay.
But I got a call from Coach Merkel with the job opportunity, and that's kind of what brought me back to the States at a time where, I needed to be home. And so, yeah, without those four, I don't think that I would be in the position that I'm in now. And so I owe a lot to them, and want to bring along the next generation as well.
Absolutely. Well, Jered, we're just, I mean, I don't even know you that well, but I'm just really proud of you. I don't care. I'm proud of you for what you've built there at WAU, and just really, I'm proud of Shock Athletics, and I'm always happy to be able to, point people to that athletic program. And again, if there's any kids that are watching this, reach out to Coach Lyons. I mean, show him what you have, and I'm sure that there's a way that you can reach out to him on wauathletics.com. Is that right?
Yep, yep.
wauathletics.com.
hmm
So anyway, Jered, really appreciate you. Nothing but the best for this season for you, and look forward to talking with you again soon.
Justin, I appreciate you. And again, this platform is awesome. I know it's going to continue to grow. And any way that we can help, we'll do that. And hopefully, when we're on the West Coast, we'll come out and visit you as well. But again, appreciate, you. Yeah, this is great for Adventist athletics. And hopefully, we can branch out to other sports. But this is great. This is great.
Yeah, you're not the first person to mention that, So someone else was talking about soccer and volleyball, and yeah, it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome. I'm
So
not
thanks,
doing
Justin. Yeah.
it
Hoops, I love it. I love the Adventist hoops. I love it. Strictly basketball. I love it.
though. All right, thanks, Jered.
All right, take care. Thanks.